Welcome back to Swords to Podcast. I'm sick.
Cowabunga, and welcome to Swords to Podcast. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Adam. Today I have 10 of my favorite new cards from the spoiled from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. And Thomas is going to take a look at them. We're going to talk about the set coming in March of 2026. So let's get into it.
Ooh, hold on. Adam, I think before we get into the cards, maybe you might want to share a thought or two about just the set. Not just the set, but what universe maybe the set's coming from. Do you have any thoughts to share? You know, recently I know it's been a little bit of a talk.
What universe? What do you mean by that?
I mean, like beyond the Magic universe. Universes beyond.
You trying to get me started getting mad about Universes Beyond? 30 seconds into the episode, you're trying to get me upset?
I figure it's the best time to talk about it, so I know you have thoughts, so let's hear it.
Yeah. So as you may or may not know from the set previews that were announced during MagicCon, we have 7 sets coming in 2026, 7 full sets coming in 2026, and 4 of them are Universes Beyond. And I think while a lot of Magic players and consumers and hobbyists are upset about the number of sets, believe it or not, in the past few years that's been pretty standard when you take into account full sets as well as smaller sets and jump start and all sorts of different things. But I think what's really got the community in uproar is just the 4 Universes Beyond full sets. It seems like too much, and I think that coupled with the amount of sets overall has made some people upset, myself included. I will say I'm a little biased just because a lot of the IPs coming to Magic next year are not things that I'm super into personally, but also I think people are just tired of the constant Universes Beyond. And when you see 4 Universes Beyond sets and 3 universes within, you start to feel like the game is not so much being diluted, but more so taken over. I don't know if you feel the same, Thomas, but that's kind of where I stand on it.
Yeah, well, because we talk about it a little bit, that I'm not quite, off the deep end as most people are with this issue. And maybe that is because, like you said, you don't care too much about the actual IPs that they're working with, but I do. It actually hits close to home. I love the Star Trek. The Marvel stuff is super cool. Even though Spider-Man wasn't that cool, I still think we got some really juicy cards out of it, and that's kind of where I'm at. And the way that I look at it, I'm not gonna disagree that 4 is kind of a lot, but just some of the things that I was thinking about is maybe licensing these kinds of things is not the easiest thing to get done, get on paper, make deals about. So I'm sure that it took a while to get the deal done, and they only have it for maybe a limited amount of time, and they might need to get them out while they still can and maybe capitalize on it. The one thing I'll say is with the Star Trek one specifically, that is because of the 50th anniversary. So some of them do kind of line up, and I'm not even that mad, because personally I love the Universes Beyond, and I know this is the thing I said to you, Adam, is that I think we get a lot of cool artwork, and I'm big for blinging out my decks and getting cool versions of cards, and they've been doing a lot of cool things on the bonus sheet, and I can never complain about that when they're going to keep giving me more. I think I just ordered that Mind Break Trap and that Path to Exile from Spider-Man. They're beautiful. That's just kind of where I stand. So I'm not going to argue. It is a lot, but I can never be one to complain. So
yeah, I totally get that. I feel like at this point, when you have you already have Secret Lairs taking up a portion of the Universes Beyond. Like, you're going to have more Universes Beyond Secret Lairs than Universes Within. That makes sense. But now that Universes Beyond has started to take over full sets, it really feels like the seasoning is outweighing the steak here. I like my seasoning with salt and pepper and some garlic and some rosemary and thyme, but As soon as you start adding more of that than you add stake, it gets overpowering. And it's just, I get it. More people are getting into Magic, and I'm all for that. But it does feel like the game's not what it used to be, and it doesn't really fit the bill of what Magic used to be. But hey, times change.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, I think that we're still, it's not like they're completely skimping out. We're not getting, the in-universe story is, it's on hold for these types of sets. But it's not like we're losing out on some of these cards. Yeah, maybe web slinging was a pretty weak mechanic, but looking forward to Avatar, they have some really cool stuff coming out there, and I think there's been some cool stuff to come out, in Final Fantasy, all that stuff. So we are getting some like strong cards, and I think they are like the work is still there. You can still see it, and that's just the one thing that I will say is I feel like some of it's getting a little bit overlooked, but I mean, for the most part, I can't disagree. But speaking of some strong cards, I hope that that's what we have in store today.
We'll see. We'll see.
So yeah, so no need to keep delaying. Keep delaying. I know we want to get into these cards. I know you're excited about them. So
Let's do it.
all right. So look at this first one. Is this a boss? Oh, it looked like a token for a second. Okay. So Krang Dimension X Overlord. So I guess he's a boss. Oh, it is a token. Okay, so boss token. The bosses play an additional card each turn. At the start of the boss turn, the bosses lose 2 lives. Oh, so is this a new game mode, like Arch Enemy or
Yes.
something?
So a lot
Okay.
like from Theros, where you would have the ability to like play a game against just a deck. You could play the Hydra, you could play against the God or whatever. This is that. At least something akin to that. So you'll be playing against these bosses that will most likely come in a separate sealed product. So you'll be able to play. I'm assuming play against this sort of thing. So it's a different format, like you said, kind of like Arch Enemy or like the fight the Hydra from Theros. I just kind of wanted this card isn't anything crazy. I just kind of wanted to preview that and talk
Yeah,
about that first because that's something we
that's cool.
haven't seen for years and years.
Well, they say bosses plural. It sounds like there might be multiple in a game.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
believe
I mean, it's interesting.
if I had to guess, there's going to be multiple bosses, and then you can team up with friends to play them or play against them 1v1.
It also says they play an additional card. It sounds like it's a completely different format. So there's like maybe a lot of limits. I guess you can only play one or however many cards a turn. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'll be cool to see what else we get for this. Could be something fun to take a look at. I mean, it's not going to be a Dan, but you know,
Yeah.
we'll give it a shot at least. All right, let's get to some real cards. We've got so Donatello the Brains. So this is going to be 2 and a blue for a 2/4 Mutant Ninja Turtle. Wow, who could have predicted that creature type? Wow. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, these tokens plus a mutagen token are created instead. And it has partner, character select. You may have 2 commanders if both have this ability. So, yeah, so the partner thing is something we've seen before, but I guess this is going to be just the ones that have character select. I'm guessing all the turtles are probably going to have it. And then, so mutagen token we have, it's going to be pay 1, colorless, tap it, sacrifice this token, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so, I mean, I don't think that they're very good. I mean, it's a new kind of token, I guess, but they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree. I think this card has maybe a place in decks like Urza, Lord High Artificer. You don't get this sort of token generating effect on something other than like Academy Manufactor, um, you know, in this color, which I like. So basically, this gives you an extra, whatever mock sapphire whenever you create an artifact token, which is interesting. But really, this was just here to mostly talk about the mutagen token. I like them. I like the concept of the mutagen token, and I think it's pretty flavorful as far as like the mutagen, the ooze, and everything, making creatures more powerful. But I hate the sorcery aspect. That feels like
yeah,
it's going to
that's
be
weird.
like it would be such a cool token for like a limited environment, but the sorcery speed is just blah. Not a fan.
Yeah, I like that they're, branching out and making like a lot of those, tokens. So, treasure, food, what feels like kind of regular tokens that each do something. So I guess we finally have a 1/1 counter token. I'm not sure if there was one before, but yeah,
To my knowledge, no.
it's pretty bad, in my opinion. I feel like if you were going to play a card that gave you extra, you would just play Academy Manufacturer or anything else. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch that say, "Oh, create an additional
Academy
food." I'd rather have a food.
Academy
What did I say?
Manufactor.
What did I say?
Academy Manufactor.
Oh,
Not
manufacturer.
manufacturer.
Okay, whatever.
Everybody says it like that.
Same difference.
Oh, no, it's not the same difference. Manufactor. TOR.
Okay.
Read the
okay.
card.
I'm not going to remember that, but thank you.
Oh, you will.
But yeah, I'd rather have food tokens than mutagen tokens.
Oh, we'll see.
And I don't
some
even play
tokens.
food. Ooh, yay.
Maybe not on this list,
yeah,
but we'll see some food tokens.
Yeah. All right, well, that sounds cool. Excited to see what the other character selects are if they're on this list. Let's go to the next one. Ooh, this is not a character select, but this is, I guess, a different version maybe of Raphael. So Raphael Tag Team Tough, 4 and 2 red for a 5/6 Mutant Ninja Turtle with Menace. And whenever he deals combat damage to a player for the first time each turn, untap all attacking creatures after this combat phase. There's an additional combat phase. So, I mean, it's, double combats is always powerful, but I don't like that it's the first time. Aren't there other... I mean, there's infinite I'm trying to think, what is it?
Does this remind you of another commander?
Yeah, I like, 5-colored Najila? Infinite combats? Is that what is that who it is?
Not quite.
I feel like I'm close. I feel like I'm
Godo
close.
Bandit Warlord.
Godo. Okay. I was pretty close.
Yeah, so obviously this isn't nearly as good. It doesn't allow you to tutor for the Helm of the Host like Godo does. But it is another creature that goes infinite with Helm of the Host and some of the other combat damage hasty token generators, which is cool.
It's also only on combat damage. I don't love that.
Yeah, but it also has Menace, so very
that's true.
relevant
Makes it a
evasion
little
there.
easier. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just fine. 6 mana is pretty steep, though.
I mean, if you pull this, but if you pull this in your pre-release kit, I mean, this is a game ender in limited. I mean, this is...
Red is always good in limited, though.
For the most part.
Well, yeah, I guess for the most part. This one looks really good. Limited. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say about this Raphael. He's cool, though. I like the art.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna see a lot of that too. Is just the Donatello was really cool too with that like extended art, and he was like out there working. But this is cool. And one thing I want to say, so it makes sense. Raphael was red, Donatello was blue, and I know that he wears purple, which I guess is close. But Leonardo wears blue, so it's weird that they made Leonardo. I think Leonardo's white,
yeah,
something. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're more. I think they're more aligning the turtles with their. With like their skills and their personalities.
That makes sense.
The bandana colors. So I feel like that would be too hard to actually reconcile those things.
Fair. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I can see that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh my God, they're just getting more expensive. Wow, Adam,
well, this one gets cheaper.
Oh, okay. Yes, I guess it does. So it's going to be Krang Mastermind. No, Krang Mastermind. That's cool. For 6 and 2 blue for a 1/4 Utrom. I don't even know what that is. Warrior. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen TMNT. Yeah, I had to make sure I got the order right. Anyway, so Krang has affinity for artifacts, so you'll cost 1 less for each artifact you control, and then when he enters, if you have fewer than 4 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference, and he gets +1/+0 for each other artifact you control. This seems pretty good. I wonder, you might laugh at me for asking this, but could this find a spot in Plagon? Maybe not the CEDH list. But,
probably
Blink.
no, only because Plagon often tends to have a lot of extra cards in hand.
Okay, yeah.
When you're drawing a lot of your deck, you'll end up with extra lands and stuff in your hand. So it's very hard to, and also a conditional draw for two. You can maybe it's the ceiling is not super high. You can maybe draw four for 2 blue mana if you have 6 artifacts. That's like not great. And also, if you have those 6 artifacts, Krang will enter, and then he'll be big enough to where Plagon will not draw you any cards.
I just realized it only draws you up to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that then.
But what I think is interesting here is, number one, it's in the command zone. Duh, it's a legendary. Number two, it's a conditional thought monitor type effect. Where you pay a blue to draw a couple cards. Where this is pay 2 blue and maybe draw 4. I think this could be in a weird mono. This could make a mono blue sacrifice artifacts type of deck, which normally you find those artifact sacrificing strategies in red. So this is a little bit of a color pie break for that. So you could, sacrifice Krang to make artifact tokens. And so theoretically, if you can sacrifice Krang and make 2 artifact tokens somehow, you can keep recasting him for 2 blue and keep drawing up to 4. And so obviously if you have a bunch of 0-drop artifacts in your hand, you can also use the 4 cards that you draw to recast Krang cheaper. Which in theory, this could, if you have a deck full of 0-drops, this could draw through your deck in something like Urza, right? So if you have all 0-drops, you can play those 0-drops, tap them for extra blue, and then the extra affinity lets you keep recasting Krang from the command zone and sacrificing him.
Yeah, affinity is always good to have out of the command zone. Gesundheit.
Thank you. I just think it's weird. I think it'll make it definitely a more interesting mono blue artifact style deck. I won't be building it, but I think it's got some interesting strategies behind it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that we'll see it at a lot of commander tables.
Oh, I doubt it.
Probably not at the helm. Maybe in the 99. Yeah, like you said, Urza or maybe some others. But even then, I don't see Urza that often, to be honest. But I will say, kind of going back to what we were just talking about with what Raphael. This looks like a menace in limited.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what's also interesting is, you can use this. You can sacrifice it and use it to kind of turn through your deck and draw a bunch of cards. But it also gets huge. I mean, if you've got 6 artifacts, this is a 7/4 for 2 mana. Like the body is very relevant and large. So
yeah,
you could build this weird artifact deck and finish the game by swinging out with an unblockable Krang. Like, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, it does scale, doesn't it? The bigger he gets, the cheaper he is, right? So that's pretty cool. I mean, and always, in blue, blink is always a thing. I mean, when I first read it, I was thinking up to 7, which I'm like, that's pretty wild. You could discard your hand. I mean, even still, if it's only up to 4, you could still do that. Discard your hand, blink it, something like that, with LED or whatever else, windfall. But then you can't play it in the command zone, then, can you? Because then you need like breach or Yawgmoth's Will or something to. Oh no, because Yawgmoth's Will would stop.
Yeah,
unless you're playing instant speed.
There's weird lines. there. But also you have to find a way to get rid of the extra cards in your hand so you can keep drawing back up to 4. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I was thinking
good
discard,
it really is.
But yeah, it's interesting. He looks cool. I want to see if they have like an alternate art. I feel like this would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
like a full board. What do they call it?
Extended art.
Me out. Extended art. Yeah, thinking like
that'd be cool.
Edgeless. I don't know. That's definitely not a name for any card, but cool. That's Krang. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Ooh, so. Okay, this is Turtles Forever. I think I did see this one. This is 3 and a white for an instant. Search your library, and or outside the game for exactly 4 legendary creature cards you own with different names. Then reveal those cards, and opponent chooses 2 of them. Put the chosen cards into your hand and shuffle the rest into your library. So, the one thing I want to say, first of all, and this is like the 3rd time I'm mentioning it, the art on this one is so cool because it's like 4 different art styles. of each turtle, right? So like I think that the Raphael, that's one of the TV shows. Probably, one of either Donatello or Leonardo. One of those I think is like from a game or something. And then the black and white Michelangelo, I guess, is I don't know. Maybe that's just a different art style. But definitely one of them is from a TV show that I used to watch. But so that's really cool how they did that. But yeah, no, its closest parallels is your Intuition Gifts Ungiven, but it's just worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot worse.
Well,
It's
because you
only
don't get
legendary creatures.
when you don't get them into your graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
The other two get shuffled back in. Yeah.
And it's also completely irrelevant in Commander since you can't have a sideboard. So I mean, you're basically just searching for 4 from your deck, which I mean is fine, I guess. But then 2 of them are going back, so
Yeah.
you can just play better tutors, I think.
Well, I think would be good is, I mean, this card would be pretty decent in mono white lists. I mean, mono white has very few tutors for things like this. I believe
for creatures, yeah.
I believe there might be one, might be Search for Glory, but that might be a planeswalker if I'm not thinking correctly. But I mean, I don't hate it. Like bracket 2, bracket 3 lists, I think will want this, especially if they're low color and they don't have tutors. This this finds what you need, but it also, it's not a demonic tutor, so I don't think it's ever going to go on the game changers, so it won't be, a pain for your opponents to deal with. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Well, what I think is kind of weird is it feels like it might be really hard to play because you need legendary creatures and it says exactly 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not like that crazy to play a lot of like legendary creatures, but I mean, it's also not that crazy to just not have a lot of legendary creatures, in your deck. If you're just doing other stuff, if you're like spell heavy or like artifact heavy enchantment, you're not going to have that many creatures already, and maybe won't even have more than 4 that are legendary. And so if you have like 1 in your hand, or if it's like later in the game and your deck is maybe thinned out a little bit, you can't even play this card because you need exactly 4, which is kind of a weird little cost, if you could call it, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's how that would work. I'm not sure though. That would make the most sense.
I guess that's when you go to the outside the game thing, but in Commander we can't really do that yet.
Yeah. Well, you know what deck I'm thinking about this for?
What is it?
Appa.
Do you have a lot of legendaries in there, or?
I have a lot of Eldrazi. I can find 4 Eldrazi's.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Show them to an opponent. Here, which one would you like to see? I think that would be fun.
But then that's just crazy because you got to throw them in your hand and you just get nothing else. So I mean, 4 mana isn't crazy to dump in, but
I mean, double demonic tutor.
Yeah,
it's not awful.
Yeah,
I might pick.
It's not the worst.
Yeah.
Again, if we see an alternate art one of this, I feel like they could cook with that. I just hate these like regular, like they have some cool artwork in this little frame, and it's just a regular card on the outside. Just so disgusting to look at, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Like
maybe I'm a little too picky.
I agree with you though. This art is really nice.
Yeah, I'm too used to all these universes beyonds like catering me with all this beautiful extended alternate bonus sheet art. Oh, where do they go? So, all right, let's move on to the next one. And yay, look at that extended art. Oh my god, it's like you knew. It's like you knew that I would be feeling it, but at this point in the list. All right, so this is going to be Leonardo the Balance, and so this is 3 and a white, also for a 3/3 Mutant Ninja Turtle. So it has whenever a token you control enters, you may put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Do it only once a turn. And you can pay Wooburg, and creatures you control gain Menace, Trample, and Lifelink until end of turn. And then this is going to be partner characters select. And saying this out loud, I think I remember, isn't this one, and then what was it? Donatello. Aren't these the commanders, in big air quotes, face commanders from like, they're doing one commander set, right? And it's a 5-color deck, and they're giving you all the turtles plus Splinter, I think, and they have the character select, so you get to choose, right, which ones you want. But if you want to play, the deck, you have to have, I think, Leonardo, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Correct. Yeah, it comes with one traditional foil face commander with borderless art, and then 5 traditional foil featured commanders. So it comes with so
Okay.
this the face commander is Leonardo the Balance, and then the other 5 are the that doesn't make any sense. Why does it come
Yeah.
with
So does that mean
5?
there's a second Leonardo? Is there like
Maybe.
April or Shudder or something? Well, this one has. I guess this is the commander symbol. Is this shell looking thing? And then the actual turtle head is the regular set symbol, I believe. Yeah, TMT for the regular set, and then this one is TMC, so Teenage Mutant Commander.
That makes sense.
So either way, I mean, this kind of feels like a precon commander to me. I don't think it's anything super crazy. Um, being in 5 colors, I think, is always good, but I don't usually like the cards that only let you do something like once a turn, and this one's only just a 1/1 counter when a creature comes in, or excuse me, when a
Only one
token
token.
enters. Yeah, and then even like the Wooburg ability, it's just it feels like it just doesn't really do anything. It's not an infinite sync. I feel like it's just kind of playing 5 colors just to have a turtle in your command zone.
Yeah, this definitely feels like Wizards was trying way too hard to make a face commander that worked with all the possible partners.
Hmm.
So, you have that token aspect in case you're running Donatello as the partner, which that's whatever. But I think they tried so hard that they made something that's just generic good stuff, and it's like we've already seen this
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Well, the thing that's weird to me too is that I know Leonardo is like the leader of the 4, but it just feels kind of weird that like they had to make a choice that Leon, like, I know he's the leader again, but he's the guy that's gonna have the 5 colors to make that deck work. I feel like, I don't know, Splinter maybe would have
Splinter
made
would make
sense,
more
pair
sense. Yeah.
him. Yeah. Um, or just maybe not trying to make 5 creatures fit in a command zone. Uh, Crazy idea there too.
Well, you
Um,
can't run all 5 of them, but
it's, I mean, yeah, but like, like 5, like an interchangeable 5 interchangeable cards for like 2 slots. It just it because it's not even really interchangeable. It's like you have to play a Leonardo and then you can just choose one of the other ones, but you're kind of stuck with him.
mm-hmm.
And it feels like, I mean, I don't know what the deck does, but then you're just kind of, you know, choosing what route you want to play. And I'm sure that the deck is built to work with all 5 because I know the other ones are going to be in the 99, but I don't know.
Yeah,
They made a
it's
choice with the
combat
one
based.
deck, and I don't know.
It's mostly combat based is what the deck theme is.
I'm not surprised. They're they're ninjas.
Yep.
They don't even have ninjutsu.
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh wait, actually, let's go.
It's
Let's
not ninjutsu.
go. Yuri. Aw, I was hoping for Yuriko 2. That'd be a cool card. Just Yuriko 2. Yes. All right. Yeah, Leonardo, I think is he's I. He's I. Cool art though.
Yeah.
I always like that. All right, so I guess another one of the commanders. So that this is what number 3. We've got Raphael the Muscle. So it's 4 and a red for a 4/4 mutant ninja turtle. Double all damage that creatures you control with counters on them would deal. When Raphael enters, create a mutagen token and partner character select. See, now this guy right here, I can get behind Raphael. Double all damage that creatures with counters would do, just period. Not combat damage, just damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty disgusting.
I think if you pair this with Leonardo and his ability to add counters to everything, just
Mm,
one counter to everything, because that's all you need. You don't need
yeah.
multiple. I think those two are probably going to be the most common pairing we see in the command zone. To me, they're the best together, and they also, lend well to the combat aspect of the deck.
Mhm.
But that is purely speculation. I have not seen what's in the deck yet.
Yeah, fair. No, I think that that is a really, really powerful ability because real like there's so many creatures that you can put it on that do all kinds of things and like artifacts, enchantments that just let you creatures deal damage in whatever way in every color too. Um, and then it's just a question of how are you going to get the counters on everything, and then there's a million ways to do that. I think green and blue are usually the best for that. I would know, playing Azuri, but there's a ton of cards that'll just give like creatures enter with counters on them, like maybe one counter, or like when a creature enters it, another creature will gift it a counter, whatever. There's some really easy, like ridiculously easy ways to get counters on your creatures. And it's not even +1 counters, by the way. It's
Yeah,
any
it's
counter.
any counter.
And I feel like that just really opens it up. Put like, what if you had what's the name of that counter where like when you bring it back from the graveyard and then if it would
Finality.
die, you exile it. Finality counters. So with black, that would be cool. But then they have a finality counter. Still pretty cool though.
Oh yeah.
This one I would be worried about. I would be really worried about seeing this guy in the command zone. He's pretty scary. But I definitely like Raphael here. So let's move on to the next card we have. Oh, more Raphael, is it? Raphael's Technique. It's going to be 4 and 2 red. And it's going to be an instant with Sneak 3, so 2 and a red. You may cast this spell for its sneak cost of 2 and a red. If you also return an unblocked attacker you control to hand during the declare blockers step. And each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. Huh. So, okay. So it's a wheel. Wait, there's a lot going on here. Hold on. So you're telling me that it's a wheel that is, not mandatory. It's a may. And it's ninjutsu on an instant. And look at how cheap that is, too. Wait, hold on. 6 mana to just cast it, like, just to hard cast it? Ugh. And then 3 mana. Dang. And in red, when you can get, like, a 1/1 with, like, haste or whatever, something that, like, just doesn't matter, that's nasty.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is it definitely hinders it during the declare blocker step. Or by it hinders it by restricting it to only the declare blocker step. Ninjutsu does not do that, so you can wait, or you can ninjutsu something in before that or after that, after something has already dealt damage, which kind of hurts this card. But I mean, it's a Wheel of Fortune. Like it's a Wheel of Fortune with the word may on it. And that's pretty good.
I think that's big, yeah.
I don't know.
I was.
Does this see CDH play? Because, I mean, so many decks, like Tim the Crom, already have unblocked attackers as part of their game plan. Do you think this slots into Tim the Crom? They already play wheels.
I mean, it's cheaper than all the wheels, right? I don't.
Well, it's better than all the other wheels. The only downside to this is it has the May clause on it, so your opponents are able to keep cards in their hand that they might want.
Yeah,
but it's better than all the other
but
wheels. Like, besides Wheel of Fortune, obviously, this is better than all the other wheels. Like, this is better than Windfall. This is pretty much better than Time Twister in those decks because you want cards in your grave. Like, this is better in my opinion.
It forces them to make a choice, right? Because you either have to look at your hand and be like, is this worth keeping over getting like a fresh 7, depending on like how low you are, you know what I mean? And sometimes they could make the right choice and maybe that's not as good, but sometimes they could make the wrong choice and they gamble and maybe come out worse on the other side because of it. So that's something cool about it. I do like, I was thinking of like this weird little tech. Imagine if you like imprint it to like Isochron Scepter, and if you had like the mana to cast it, because you can just cast this, right?
So you won't
Oh
be
wait,
able to
no,
throw this on an
Isochron.
Isochron scepter because it's
Yeah,
2 or less.
yeah, that's true.
You could throw this
I don't know how
onto.
Isochron Scepter works. I guess.
Oh, you can throw this onto. What's the one that just got unbanned?
Yeah,
Uh,
there's something that's like it.
Panharmonic mirror or something. Mirror.
That sounds just about right.
Oh, we're
Sounds about
there.
right.
We're close.
Um, Panoptic Mirror.
Panoptic mirror. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would work though, because don't you have to, whatever it is, don't you have to like tap it to cast the exiled card
Yeah, I mean,
or
Panoptic
whatever?
mirror just sucks generically, but
Yeah. So maybe not a cool tech, but it was a cool idea. Trying to like
you know where this would
copy
go
this
great
and
in?
do what? Krark?
Magar of the Magic Strings.
Damn. Oh, because then you wouldn't even really have to worry about the sneak,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Just if you just throw it face down, yeah.
And you can also cast it for cheap with a sneak ability, so it's not even that
Yeah.
bad.
Can you cast make what Magar stuff when it's already on the field? Well, on the field in big air quotes, since we know how much of a headache the ruling on that card is.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, because like I'd have to refresh myself on what the actual ability of Magar is. Isn't it like you exile or remove or take a card from like your graveyard or your hand or
Yeah,
whatever,
you note
put
the
it on
name.
the field face down. Note the name. That's right. Note the name, and then put it face down. But it's not like actually face down. Or is there, no, it was something about zones. That's what it was. That was what the whole argument was for the longest time. Is something about like the zone that you're casting it from. So maybe it's not like the actual zone that it exists when it's on the field. I don't know. That's its own headache. That's its own headache. I'm gonna believe you that it fits really well in that deck. I haven't put
It
one
does.
together. Cool. I really like this card.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a lot of fun, and I would love to see someone play it actually,
Mm-hmm.
because think about it, seeing somebody else play it is amazing because then you get to wheel and they like return, a creature they're not even gonna get, an attack off, and if it's a big one and they're just have no other choice but to wheel, then that just feels extra good. Well,
Yeah.
as good as
Well,
it can considering they're wheeling.
well, and it is nice that most of the wheels that they're printing now are May abilities. I think they kind of learned from some of the previous ones that forcing your opponents to discard a bunch of cards and draw a bunch of cards is not a very fair mechanic. So
Pretty
I like that
abusive,
they're
yeah.
going in this direction. They're printing, like, yeah, this card's kind of busted, but it's also done in a very fair way.
I
I
agree.
don't think people need to be upset when they see this card.
I and going back to the hard casting cost, dude, 6 mana is steep
Yeah.
for a wheel. That's pretty steep.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's hard casting this thing, good on you, I guess. Or maybe I'm sorry that it had to come to that. That's wild. All right, well, shall we move on to the next? Oh, Adam, dang, you know me too well. So I think I've been messaging you for like the last like what 2 or 3 days about this thing, and I'm like, dude, I found this card. Like, I bet you can guess what card I like, and I'm thinking about how to build it, and I'm just overwhelmed. There's too much going on here. Uh, I I love this card. I've been drooling over this card, like I said, for a couple days. This is like the holy grail of cards that I've seen spoiled in the last couple months, other than Toph. So this is going to be Super Shredder, 1 in a black for a 1/1 mutant ninja human with menace, and whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Super Shredder. This is insane. Um, any permanent, any permanent at all. Doesn't have to belong to you. It can belong to anybody. It doesn't have to be a non-token. It can be absolutely anything. And it's not like when it dies or gets exiled. It's when it leaves the battlefield. That's insane how much tech this opens up. Adam, I'm going to turn the floor to you really quick and see what you're thinking, because you probably haven't been as in the weeds as I have, just thinking about all the things that this can apply to. So what are you thinking?
I mean, I obviously this opens the door to, removal tribal and kind of unfun play styles like that. But also, I feel like as a static piece, just kind of letting the game unfold and not actively doing anything to proc the ability by killing your opponent's things, this is going to get huge automatically. I mean, how many times do people sacrifice things, sacrifice, treasures or foods or crack clues or flicker their creatures, return things to their hands, play bounce lands, anything, fetch lands, everything procs this ability. Anytime anything leaves. So, I mean, if you sneeze, this is a 10-10. This is like this will be a humongous creature incredibly quickly because this is ideally going to come down turn 1 or 2. Like, even bracket 1 decks could play a Dark Ritual in this deck and get it out turn 1.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really strong.
I feel like there's just so much you can do. And this is what I want to put you on to, Adam. Just think about all the best things that you can do in black. Blink,
There's no
blink,
black.
copy. That's a joke. The only thing that's holding it back here is just being in black.
Yeah.
Because like that's just some of the things I'm thinking of. Is like, how can I make blink work in black, or how can I make like copy, like myriad type of thing work really well in black? Just like whatever I can possibly do to try and like push this to the limit of getting as many leaving the battlefield triggers as I possibly can. And there's still, I mean, those are obviously the ones that are in different colors and aren't as quite as easy to get off. But even then, what is black known for? Like graveyard, and it's disgustingly easy to like sacrifice or recur stuff. And just think about all the colorless things that just put tokens onto the battlefield. So you got your, what did we say before? I'm learning. I'm gonna say it correctly this time. Academy Manufactor.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Academy Manufactor. A big one that I was looking at, obviously, like from the start, was your Ashnod's Altar, your Phyrexian Altar, for sacking the creatures and getting the value, and then being able to put that into, I don't know, shoot, I should know, the 1 mana. Whenever a 1/1 counter is put on, you can pay 1, and like the big Corvold card. Oh, shoot, I can't believe that. No. It's 1 mana. I can like picture it in my mind. Thank you, animation module. There's like a million, and that's just the treasure side of things. And I think treasure is probably the best way to go, because you're getting something that's just, you can just easily sack, get the mana, put it into something that just keeps it going.
Well, and edicts. I mean, yeah, everything, anything that you're doing in any normal Magic game will make Super Shredder bigger. This is going to be an immediate must answer threat.
Well, and the things that I was trying to look for, because my first thought, it's like, okay, how do we make this go infinite? And my first thought was, the easy ones that you see a lot in like CDH with your mana positive rocks, bouncing them to your hand and replaying them. I know that it goes infinite super easy with what Bolas's Citadel plus Divining Top. So that's a super easy one, and that's in the colors.
Yeah.
And there's got to be more to, be able to, but just in black, that's where it's tough, is like, how do you get stuff bounced to your hand to play it again? That was my idea. And then the route that I haven't been able to go down quite yet is just the payoff. And the easy one is obviously attacking, but I don't want to just have to, spend 3 turns attacking and maybe not even getting through. I want the instant payoff. And so, again, in mono black, that's the question, is where can we get value off of creatures getting counters, or maybe just dealing damage, or like when a counter gets put on, do something. Those are the kind of cards that I had in mind that I haven't been able to find yet. I don't know if there's anything that comes to your mind off of just some,
well, there's stuff like Rite of
payoffs for the counters.
Consumption, where you can, it's like Rite of Consumption is like a weird version of Fling, or I think it lets you sacrifice a creature to deal damage to an opponent, so you can get an insta kill with that, like after you've gone to combat, and whether or not you got in or not.
I feel like there are a lot of cards that do damage to each opponent or something like that. But I'm not sure if they're in black is the only thing. I'd have to keep looking. My idea, because I know I just mentioned this was like the myriad, and that's why I said copies, because if you make copies of him, they automatically get sacrificed because they're legendary, stuff like that. But if you could do the myriad with, I know Master Multiplied, I know that's a Rakdos
Mirror
card.
box.
Mirror Box, yeah, I know that there's legendaries that give stuff myriad and ignore the legend rule. I mean, Helm of the Host. Is Helm of the Host myriad?
It's not
I know
myriad,
it
but it's
ignores
just one.
Yeah. So there's a for just being in mono black, it's kind of disgusting how many different directions you can go with this thing.
Yeah.
And I love it. I really do love this card.
Feel on site commander,
So,
that's for sure.
Yeah. This is something we could probably save. I'm gonna keep looking into it, but I would love to go through this at some point if we can.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Dang, it's just and 2 mana. I know this isn't like Lady Octopus, but this when I first saw this, I'm like exactly what you said. Like Wizards, what were you thinking?
Well,
that little clip.
Wizards, I thought we were done printing busted 2-mana commanders. I mean, we have Kinnan, we have Thrasios. Like, I thought we were done with this. I thought we had gone down this road, and Mark Rosewater, you acknowledged it, and you said, yeah, we're done printing these busted 2-mana commanders, and you're like, oh, Universes Beyond, might as well print another one so that people buy the set. And here we are.
It's like, haha, bozo. I had my fingers crossed. I feel like the only thing holding this back is not having that sync, like any sort of sync in it. It just, it gets the value, but you have to figure out how to use it.
It gets value from everything, though. You don't have to build this deck insanely good. You can just build this with mono black good stuff, protect your commander, and it'll get huge on its own. Like, and then they're just like, let's throw Menace on it to boot. Why not? Because it's a villain. Bro, this card's absurd.
You can just play the waiting game. You just sit there and put all your Feign Death and all those like enchantments on it. Well, I know Feign Death is an instant, but the enchantments that do the same thing. So it's just he's not gonna die. He's not, and you just sit there and just let the game go. Be like, and just build your board up, and then get him super big, and then
when you're
ready.
40. Yeah.
Oh, Super Shredder. Wow. Thank you, Wizards. Thank you so much. Shall we move on? Oh, it looks like this is the last card on the list. Ooh. Leonardo Sewer Samurai. 3 and a white for a 3/3 Mutant Ninja Turtle Samurai. Has Sneak 4, so 2 and 2 white, and Double Strike. During your turn, you may cast creature spells with power or toughness 1 or less from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. Didn't I just mention finality counters earlier?
That. Yeah.
No way. Wait, so you're telling me that you can pair...
No, you cannot.
Raphael... Oh, damn
This one does not have the partner select.
Well, you could still put it in the deck, though.
It probably is in the deck.
No, it's not, because it would have the set symbol. No, unless they have a second version.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, this is pretty good. It's interesting. So the sneak cost is actually a little bit harder to pay because it has an extra white pip. Same cost, but one of the pips is white.
But we
also
don't know what the sneak ability does with creatures. So we know about the sneak ability on that Raphael's Technique, but we don't know, which is an instant, but we don't know how it interacts with creatures. Notably, there is no reminder text on this version of the card. So I'm assuming because this sneak cost on Leonardo specifically is more restrictive with the 2 white pips like Thomas mentioned, I'm assuming that there's going to be some added benefit. Maybe it gives it a buff, maybe it enters tapped and attacking, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe it gains vigilance or something until end of turn. Would be interesting. But I think there's something else added to the ability on sneak whenever it's on a creature spell, if I had to guess.
Well, because the thing that is standing out to me, if you go back to Raphael, it says you may cast this spell for 2 and a red. It doesn't say you may cast the spell for its sneak cost, right? So, isn't that like the normal like alternate cost thing? It's like you may cast this for its whatever cost. Um, so I think that is something to be said. So maybe you are onto something that's going to be a little bit different than just I don't know. Maybe I'm just onto nothing. Maybe I'm hitting a dead end, or maybe I'm just turning back too soon. um, I think regardless of the sneak ability, it's an amazing card. I know that you already built Appa with your Eldrazi and all that, but this feels cool for like airbending or blink or whatever, right? Because that gets away of the finality counters, doesn't it? Like blinking.
Yeah, but it's only power toughness 1 or less. So normally, if you're gonna reanimating things with finality counters, you want to be hitting massive targets. I think this is
True.
more a combo enabler. You can, there's a white enchantment that doesn't let things get, or doesn't let counters be put on. I think it's Solemnity or something. It doesn't let counters
Yeah,
go on
something.
players or permanents. So then you can cast your Memnite from the yard and then keep sacrificing it and recasting it and just get it in, either that or finding ways to get rid of the finality counter and just keep looping things. There's a lot of weird tech that you can do with this.
Well, there's plenty of cards that have toughness 1 and are still really, really good.
That
Um,
is true.
for example, Recruiter of the Guard, it not only has toughness 1, but it searches creatures toughness 2 or less from your library. Um, so this could be like the opposite of like a toughness matters deck, right? Where like I don't know what you would call that. Toughness doesn't matter.
Just the
Or
little guys.
yeah, little guys, something like that.
Not little
Um,
guys.
there's little guys. There's
There you go.
definitely some powerful cards that you can reanimate with this, but then it's just a question of you got to reanimate it with the finality counter, and then you got to maybe get rid of the finality counter. So how worth it is that in the end?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I think it's cool, and if somebody wants to throw together a deck, I would love to play against it. I would love to see what you cook up with this little guy. I'll whip out Super Shredder, and we'll go band for band, and we'll see what
And Super
happens.
Shredder will win.
I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Hey, I don't know how they're gonna brew up Leonardo. I'm not gonna put cards in their deck. I'm not gonna put cards in their deck. Okay, so uh, I'm excited to see what the community comes up with on this one. But overall, I'll be honest, I'm a little impressed. When I first, well, before they even announced it, when they said it was going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's cool, I guess. I was really hoping for the iCarly, universes beyond,
Oh yeah,
personally.
of course, me too.
Yeah, so I felt like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but it's still on
Hmm.
the table for the record. But no, some of these cards are actually cool. I think they've done a good job so far, and I'm excited to see what else they cook up. The boss thing sounds like fun.
Yeah, sounds
Can't
interesting.
wait to hear more about that.
Now, real
But
quick before we go, Pizza Lands.
ugh,
Yeah, consensus is a negative.
ugh. Dude, I'm all for like cool lands and special like special alternate versions. Dude, these are disgusting.
Yeah, these things are
Like,
horrifying.
and I'm pretty sure that that's what I've seen online too, from the most part. And it's crazy because the Avatar set, they have some really beautiful full art lands. Even the regular basics, I I would take
Yeah.
the regular basics like a million times over before I picked up one of those. The ones with like Appa flying over the different landscapes. The Yeah, these pizza lands, ugh.
Yeah. Also, like,
The
has this
forest is
artist
funny though.
has this artist ever seen pizza? Like, that's not what pizza looks like. That's sludge. That's radioactive pizza.
It's just drippy. Yeah.
I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
these are
God. All right,
and
let's wrap this up so I don't have to look at these anymore.
sorry, I'm just at this point I'm just looking at the toppings. Sorry, I just want to look at the toppings. Okay, we got
That's too much
okay,
garlic. Too much garlic.
Nah,
I'm Italian.
nah,
That's
nah.
too much garlic.
Oh, wait, are those pickles?
Pickles?
Is that wait, is that a banana or is that a pickle? I really need to know.
On what?
On
Oh.
the planes, dude. Look at the planes. Look at the planes. What is that?
What is that?
Okay,
I think it's a pickle.
I think there's. Oh wait, okay. Is this garlic or is this? This looks like onions or toenails.
That's garlic.
No, I think these are onions. No,
That's
no, no.
garlic.
Because look at the one on
Then
the
island,
left.
Then yeah,
there's
garlic
mushroom.
is islands.
Oh,
and
they're
then the
mushroom.
island is onion. Or
Island
maybe
is
that's
onion?
not an onion. What is it? What are the purple ones? The
No,
shallot.
this is shallots. No, these are what do you call it? But I was about to say something dumb like kelp. I know it's not kelp, dude. It's
What are you talking
dude,
about?
now,
Which
now
one?
I'm talking about the island, the fish, because that's not what those are called. They're called
Oh, anchovies.
Oh,
But I'm talking about
anchovies. Thing.
but the onion in the middle.
Oh, it is an onion in the middle. That is, yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
there's
but-
also
no,
like
'cause look at-
what looks like raspberries on the mountain, and there's a chili pepper with the stem still on it. This looks like AI art.
Ugh. Ugh. Look at the forest. Is that kiwi? Ugh. Ugh. Oh God. Why are we
And,
still
like,
looking at these?
One, it feels bad because the artist Gabolept, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, has some amazing art. Like, my lord, it's awesome. But just these pizza lands, bro. What are we doing?
Okay, but the real question is, what's on the swamp? Obviously, that's a mushroom. But then, what's that other thing? The mystery meat.
The swamp. Oh, that looks
Is
like
that a grape?
eggplant.
Oh, dude, those are grapes.
Oh, ew, yeah. That's
Dude,
why it's
imagine if they're
purple.
grapes.
Oh my god. Get these lands off my screen. Okay. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I'm so sorry that we had to just talk about these ugly ass lands for 10 minutes, but it had to be done. Yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Once we get to 100 followers and subscribers on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, we are doing that giveaway. So go follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Go tell your friends about us. Everything. Subscribe and follow us. We really appreciate all of you. And just run up the numbers so we can do that giveaway.
Yeah. Thank you guys. See you on the next one.
Later. Cowabunga!
Why do you have to say it so fruity?